All right, everybody. How are we doing? My name is Nick Baldwin. Welcome back to day 2 of the daily REALIFY. And if for some reason you don't know what REALIFY is, if it's your first day here and you're like, what the heck is this REALIFY thing? Well, I am going to tell you, so don't worry. REALIFY is a training program that we're putting together that helps agents create memorable and trusted brands through what we call capturing the curious or getting the lead, however you want to phrase it. Agents are going to learn how to market their real estate brand through their brand identity. They're going to learn their brand promise, their values, and so on and so forth. We decided to put this together along with Keller Williams as a partner because there wasn't anything in the Keller Williams ecosystem that really, was digging in deep to helping agents identify, who they are as a brand, how they can effectively market themselves, how they can consistently, keep the same brand message, keep a brand promise, all of those things. And I hear a lot of agents saying, well, I need a logo first and foremost. And yesterday we discussed that a logo should actually be the last thing that you create, because you have to identify things, such as your brand promise, your value, your brand voice, the tone in which you're going to relay messages, what your website's going to look like. We didn't get to that yet, but a brand is so important. A lot of the most successful companies in the world, like here's an example. So like I was hearing Seth Godin talk. Oh, actually, no, I was reading it. Was it? Yes, it was on TikTok because I'm also reading his book. But he said on TikTok that, like, I thought this was the greatest way to explain it. If Nike opened a hotel, you would know what to expect. You would know probably what it was going to look like. But if the Hyatt or the Hilton created a sneaker, you'd have no idea what to expect, because Nike has a brand and Hilton doesn't. Hilton has a logo, right? Like Hilton or Hyatt, they're hotels, right? Like if you went to the Four Seasons, that'd be maybe a little bit different, right? But the Hyatt or the Ramada Inn or La Quinta or Holiday Inn, they don't have a brand. They just have a logo. So you wouldn't really know what to expect. So I thought that was a really great way to explain the, what a brand really is. And so again, I'm being very rude and I didn't go to Leslie to introduce herself. So Leslie Jackson, please let everyone know who you are.
Hi, everyone. So if you weren't with us yesterday, I'll just reintroduce myself. My name is Leslie Jackson. I'm a MAPS coach and RTT for Colorado, and I am residing in Colorado as we speak. I've been with Keller Williams since 2011, 2012, and here I am with Nick. So super excited to be a part of this journey with Nick and you all.
I
Thank
love
you.
it. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for being here. We appreciate you. Somebody's got like their AI going on the side here on the Zoom. It's kind of interesting. I
Oh
guess
yeah, they're
it's
recording.
taking notes for you. Kate Corrigan is asking me what the name of the book is. Well, the book I'm reading is called This Is Marketing by Seth Godin. It's a little orange book, and it's a good one. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. So anyway, without further ado, today we're going to talk about how to identify your target audience. Yesterday, we touched on that a little bit. And if you didn't catch the live stream yesterday, you can watch the replay. Leslie, can you go ahead and drop that replay in the chat one more time, just to make sure everyone has it?
Absolutely.
So identifying your target audience as a real estate agent is crucial. Like, who are you going to be working with? Who do you want to be working with? It's really important for creating and implementing effective marketing and sales strategies. So we're going to talk about some steps and methods to identify who your target audience is, right? Because a lot of agents are like, well, I want, I gotta help everybody. I gotta work with everyone. And, you know, sure, if that's your target audience, go right ahead. But think about some famous brands out there. Like, and I was mentioning the Four Seasons. They don't go after everyone. It's really expensive to stay there, right? So you don't have to go after every single person. Decide who you want to work with. And so the very first thing you want to do is define your niche. We talked about this slightly yesterday, but before identifying your audience, decide who your niche is or what your niche is. And I mentioned yesterday that when I first started out in the business, I had just gotten married and I wanted to help newlywed home buyers find a house. So that was my niche. I had a blog about it. I had videos. I had a Facebook page. It was all very specific to newlywed home buyers. So, you know, on a simple level, what do you want to focus on? Luxury homes, first-time buyers, commercial, rentals, vacations. Your niche is going to guide you to your target audience. Does that make sense? Don't feel like you have to serve everybody. You know, you're not,
Yeah.
you know, you're not going to need to be the person who has to help every single person. And so, you know, you see these agents running around like crazy, you know, they're burnt out. You know, that's because that's kind of where the route that they've decided to go. And I mentioned, you know, husband and wife team, who's a friend of mine, talking about how they identified the type of people they want to work with. And we're going to get down to that later when we talk about avatars, which is what Leslie's going to talk about right now, actually.
Yeah, it's perfect timing.
Yeah.
And I love this conversation because it's really just being specific on who you do business with so easily, right? And so when we talk about a niche, we talk about a persona, we talk about an avatar. So let's just give you an example. Sarah, a 30-year-old professional looking to buy her first condo. Like that is very, very specific. And then depending on your niche, consider just your demographics of your potential clients. So you all know the areas that you do business in, who are those people specifically? And if you were to look past in your last 12 months of last year, who were those people? And really just focusing on the people that were really awesome to work with. You know, maybe they were millennials, maybe they were first-time home buyers. Perhaps you have a luxury target market in your area as well that you've actually did 6 or 7 deals with last year. And you're like, oh my gosh, why am I not focusing on them? And then also just distinguish and discover just who those people are and what they do for a living. So what are their occupations? That also helps continue to drive your messaging and also being really specific with your copy in marketing, right? So this all goes back to speaking to your audience, speaking to that niche, and really understanding your avatar at a high level.
100%. That's awesome. And by the way, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. Obviously, we want to help you out if you're lost at any point. So, and by the way, if you want to talk, because this is a mastermind, don't let Leslie and I hog up the microphone the whole time. You know, unmute yourself, raise your hand in the Zoom, and let us know if you want to join in and say a few things. We'd love to hear from you. So the next thing we want to discuss is finding your geographic focus, right? Like a lot of agents are like, well, I want to farm my neighborhood. That's awesome. Definitely do that. I don't think, well, it might not be the first farm that you want to focus on because you got to think about the turnover rate. And the turnover rate should be higher than about, 3 to 4%. If it's not higher than that, then it may not be a great return on investment. So if your neighborhood, like I used to live in a subdivision with 300 homes and people didn't move very often. So, maybe a couple listings a year might not be the place that I want to hyper focus on. Maybe later, once I build up some reserves and I'm able to like build an awareness of who I am in my neighborhood, then I would focus on it. But if your neighborhood doesn't have a high turnover, like if people don't tend to move very often, it might not be the place that you want to focus on. So look at where you want to focus. Like here's another example. So when I moved to Michigan, you know, the average price point in Michigan when I moved here 5 years ago was like 175. And I came from northern New Jersey where my average price point was like 500, right? So that was a nice culture shock. But instantly you're like, you know what? No, that's not going to be our price point. We are going to focus on a higher price point. So we started farming neighborhoods that were 250 and higher. And by the end of the year, our average price point was 242. So focus on where you want to be geographically. If you want to sell more expensive homes, focus on that. You want to focus on first-time home buyers. Maybe there's apartment complexes somewhere. You can start focusing on that. But definitely, you know, certain neighborhoods and regions may have distinct characteristics and attract a specific type of clientele, which will, again, will help you not only get a seller in that clientele category, but a buyer as well. All right. Cool, cool, cool. If there's any questions, let us know. This is super important. So your competitor analysis, a lot of agents don't do this because a lot of agents don't treat their business like a business. So otherwise known as a SWOT analysis, SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Okay. All of the major companies out there and successful real estate teams and agents do this. Look at other agents in your area. What are they doing? Who are they targeting? What kind of gaps in their marketing can you find that you can fill? What are they not doing that you can do differently or do more of? How much more value can you bring? So a competitor analysis or a SWOT analysis is something that if you haven't done, sit down and look at what these high producers in your area are doing and figure out how you can improve or find gaps in what they're doing that you can increase the value from. Make sense? Cool.
Awesome. I love this next one, Nick. And this is all about getting a little bit deeper into your past clients' mind frame, right? And also understanding like where they came from. So if you were to do a survey and ask for feedback about how your past clients found you, or perhaps your potential clients or active clients right now, it gives you some invaluable data so that you can continue to focus on the how and then get into action so you can grab more clients, right? And so be that investigator, be that person that comes from a place of curiosity and really try to figure out, okay, I had 20 transactions last year. Where did they all come from? How did they find me? Was it through friends and family? Was it from on Facebook? How did they get in touch with me? And if you were to collect all that data, then now you have a purpose and you have a direction to continue to focus on how they found you in those specific channels so that you can get really specific and get into action. And then secondly, stay updated with market trends. So, you know, as we know, our market is continuously shifting, and regularly reading real estate reports would be huge and invaluable to your potential clients and also your active clients. Be the economist of choice. So really, when we decide to continue to give information over and over again about the market, then they're going to look at you like the economist of choice. So they're going to have no reason why they wouldn't hire you, right? And so do your research, be that economist of choice in your local market so that you can continue to provide that value and help them make the decision of buying or selling. Stay up to date with it.
There was a really great question in the chat from Lorena, and we answered her in the chat, but I think everyone should probably hear the question. Can you suggest where I can get the info on turnover rate? I mean, you got to get that from your MLS. And Jeff said, you know, take the number of sales in the farm, divide that number by the amount of units in that farm. That's going to be your ratio. Super easy math. I mean, for me, there's no such thing as super easy math, but that's how you do it. It's simple. Go to your MLS, take the number of sales in the farm, divide it by the number of the amount of units, and there you have it. Ta-da.
Love it.
All right, we talked about this yesterday, but we're going to talk about it again. Engage with your community. Host events, attend local events, join business associations, join forces with some local businesses. This is going to give you firsthand experience and insights into local residents, their needs and desires. Also, I remember this was years ago, and my mom, Roberta's on the call too, and maybe she can chime in on it. We did oh man, I'm like losing thought here. We did a food drive for animals, for pets. It was called the Four-Legged Food Drive. And this was cool. Like, if I do say so myself, we set up drop-off locations at inside of local businesses. I don't remember how many, because this was probably 10 years ago.
Maybe about 6 or 7 local pet stores.
Well, I think it was more than pet stores. It was
Was it?
also like, it was a couple pet stores. And I think it was like, other types of businesses too. It wasn't just pet stores. But
Plus our office, you ended up with like
1,000
can't
pounds
even-
worth of food.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So we set up drop off points in our office at some food stores for pets, at some other local businesses, and we got a write up in the local paper, and we got a lot of food. It's so funny because like years after that, I still had people reaching out to me. Is this the food? Do you still do the Four-Legged Food Drive? So something like that can really draw attention. People have a soft spot for animals. Also, when my last year selling in New Jersey, we donated $50 to every sale to the local animal shelter. And when we, at the end of the year, when we gave them that check, it was the largest single donation they had ever received in the history of the animal shelter. So things like that hit a soft spot. Animals, pets, animals in need. Things of that nature can really be, and people like to know that they're buying a house or selling a house from you, and you're donating some of that commission to a great cause. But anyway, I'm rambling. Local events, local businesses, partner with those people. I mentioned yesterday, maybe creating a little buyer packet with coupons that are specific to your clientele. I actually got some referrals from local businesses from doing some things like that in the past. So, definitely engage with the community. Leslie, you're up.
Yes. So awesome. So I love that we talk about engaging with the community. And also, can we just mention networking? So networking is huge with other industry professionals because you add more value. We also know that you already are partnering with a lender, but can you imagine if you were partnering with some other vendors on a regular basis to just add more value to your clients and their needs? So I know Gary, spoke about this, and again, in Mega Camp, it's just like, can you imagine if you created your own Angie's List, right? So like if you had a list of vendors at all times and really partnering with them at a high level, cross-promoting them on social, and giving your clients a forever value proposition, whether they're working with you or not, right? So active past clients, something that will continue to give you a forever client.
Yes, I love it. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Where are we? Which part are we on? I lost track.
Identify pain points.
I was queuing myself up for my next part and I lost track. Go ahead.
It's all good. So then it's all about identifying pain points. So understanding common challenges or concerns faced by your buyers or sellers in your niche or region, and then addressing these specific pain points to those segments of the audience. So again, it's knowing your people at a really high level and understanding how you can specifically provide a solution to those pain points. So
Yes,
do you want to take the next one, Nick?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And the pain point aspect is huge. Like you can use that as a social media strategy, right? Like what are people struggling with in your area? Are they struggling with finding a house? You know, what are they struggling with in terms of the transaction or before the transaction? You can create a really cool social media campaign around that. Educational seminars and workshops. If you were at Mega Camp, I mentioned this yesterday. If you were at Mega Camp, you saw Sue Adler on stage talking about her events, and like they're doing a ton of them. And she considers her team an events company that happens to sell real estate. Another friend of mine in Boston, some of you might know Kimberly Meserve, she's big on buyer seminars as well. Now she does one a month. She used to do 2 a month, but now she does 1 a month, and she does them in all certain, she does it on Zoom now. She used to do it in person, but doing it on Zoom is so much more effective. You can do them more often. You can lead generate for them in a much more streamlined way. People are more inclined to turn up, but host seminars and workshops on real estate topics. The type of people who attend can provide clues to your target audience. Another way to get people to show up, because they're free, a way to get people to show up is not to charge them money, but to collect a donation towards a cause. Because even if they give you as little as $5, they're going to feel more invested to show up. Because even though that money is going towards a cause, they still spent that money. So it doesn't have to be something that's mandatory. But with Kimberly, what she does on Eventbrite is, you know, she chooses a cause, and she notices that the people that do donate have a higher percentage of showing up than the ones that don't. So that is huge. And the ones that donate, even though it's as little as $5 or $1 or $10, they're the ones that have the disposable income in which to do that. So you're already dealing with a higher level of clientele because they donated to a cause. People who don't have that extra money don't tend to donate. So that's a big way to get people to show up, is asking for donations. Yeah, so guys, that concludes today's session. Like I said, these are only going to be 20 to 30 minutes each day, Monday through Thursday. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but we're going to talk about like evaluating your new farm. So a lot of this is like, yes, we're going to talk about lead generation. This week, it's specifically about more lead generation and breaking into a farm. Next week, we're going to get more into the branding side of things as we proceed. But tomorrow we're going to evaluating a new farm area to grow your real estate business. And we're going to analyze multiple factors to determine the potential for success. And we got about 10 or 12 different points that you should be focusing on. Yeah. So thanks for being on the call. Don't forget to show up Monday through Thursday at 11 Eastern, because there's going to be an exam. Just kidding. There's not going to be an exam.
Thank you, everyone.
Wait, hold on. Does anybody have questions? I don't want to jump off like
don't go.
You know, if anyone has questions, we're here. Let us know. Now's your time. Okay, awesome. Well,
thank you.
Listen, don't forget to go join the Facebook group. I'll post it one more time right here because we're dropping some knowledge in there. And then if you missed the replay from yesterday, I'm like, here's the replay. Here's a challenge I'm having.
Thanks, Jim.
I don't want to send too many emails. So like, you know, I don't want to send an email every day, you know, with a replay. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I should do like a weekly wrap up.
Well, if we're streaming it and Facebook too, it's already recorded.
True, but like, how about like a weekly email, like on Friday with the replays? Does
Yeah, I
sound
think
good?
weekly is better than
Is that probably
daily.
better?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if you join the Facebook group, I drop the replays in there every day. And then on Fridays, I'll send out an email to everybody with all of the replays and the information for the upcoming weeks. Does that sound good? All right, cool. That sounds
Yeah.
good. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you and have an amazing Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.